Hello, welcome back to the Titus 2 Woman channel. You're here with Latrice, and today's video is will be a lot different. I want to just share a story with you, a personal story with you, journey that I was allowed to embark on, and I just really wanted to share um, this story. So in 2016 until 2017, like literally a year, I was led to just leave everything, and I went with my eyes wide open and just followed and followed the voice of the Holy Spirit and allowed him to lead me. And I was it was along with my daughter, so it was my daughter and I that uh, really shared this experience. And so I just wanted to share with you guys today. So 2016, got up one morning, and September 2016, got up one morning, and up to that time, I had been hearing like I was on leave, right? So this particular morning, got up and it was like, this is the day. So I got up, I got dressed, packed up, packed up. Um, interesting, packed up a lot of things, a lot of things, a lot of things, like a lot of things. And I'll get to those things later. I had pictures of my kids when they were younger, growing up, just a lot of things, right? And so uh, I left out. And in this in being led, we eventually stayed. We stayed at a family member's house for a while. I want to say maybe 3 months, something like that, because it actually was like it was divided up into 3 months. Okay, every event. So we were at a family member house for 3 months, and um, just there were some things that we had to learn there, some revelations that came out while living there or residing there. And so when it was time to move on to the next place, he gently led us out to the next place. And so what happened, very first time ever, like ever being without shelter, meaning physically my own place. Okay, I've lived with my mother until I was 19. Then I had my own places, and then man. So this was like first time ever, no shelter that I can call my own. Okay, so start off uh, with first night on the train. We slept on the train, and just saw so many things, like to the point where we realized that um, one, the church was not outside. The church was not outside. What was where the people were, the church was not where the people were, right? And then just to learn and to see all of the different type of people that were outside. um, young people, old people, middle aged people, right? So I mean, just people of all ages. And then also seeing how where um, before seeing a person that was homeless, because like for example, I remember before we had this this journey, I remember going downtown one time and there was some homeless people there, and I was just always in the habit of, just giving people money, right? And I remember hearing, um, I remember hearing a small, still voice saying, it's not always money that they need, or it's not always food that they need. And I really did not understand, like, why, what do you mean, right? If they're homeless and they're asking for, some money to get them something to eat, this, that, and the other, but I'll get back to that later. And so we slept on the train, and the interesting thing was, we man, we became acquainted with so many different people. um there were people that became, that you just become family with. There were people that just began to be protectors of us, and shelter, and like provided like security for us. There were people that we encountered that were just, man, looked forward to seeing us. We look forward to seeing them. I mean, we just, that 3 months was just amazing. And then it had actually, and it was the beginning of winter, because it was December when we began to sleep on the train. And so I remember that the first sound of snow, my daughter had on the little baby doll shoes, right? And so I remember she was like, "Oh, my feet are wet and they cold," and I was like, "Lord, okay, what do we do? What do I do?" And so I had heard a message from Bill Winston, and he had gave us someone's testimony, I believe it was, where it was talking about that they were able to that you can, the scripts of scripture that was saying, "Come and buy food and drink with no money," right? And so a testimony had came through about how that scripture had, um, had manifested in another person's life. And so this particular day, I was like, I had, I think I had a few dollars, and I said, "Well, come on, let's go get you some boots on faith," right? And we walked into one store, and it was like, "Nope, this is not the store." Walk into another store, it's like, "Nope, this is not the store." So we walk into the next store, and uh, it was like, "Okay, try on the boots that you want." And so she tried on these pair of boots that she liked, and uh, we went to go purchase the boots, and it was like $25 or $30 or something like that. And I was like, "Okay, well, we don't have that." And I told him that, we were just believing God in faith, right? And so they looking at us, looking at them, and they like, "Oh, man, we can do it for you," right? And so, oh, this video is trying to be longer than I wanted this to be, but okay. So we're walking out, and the young lady comes running behind us, and she was like, "No, come back, come back." The manager said, "Come back." So we come back, and the manager was like, "Okay, go get the whatever boots that you like, you want. Go get the boots that you want." And so she went and she got the boots, and he was like, "Get you some socks and everything." So he paid out his pocket, right? And so I remember sending a message in to Pastor Bill Winston, like, "Listen, I have a testimony that it happened, right?" And so I just want to say that out there, the miracles that we saw, but what we didn't see is really what I want to talk about today. We didn't see the church out there, right? We didn't see we didn't see um we did not see people from church coming and, you know, being there, being a light. We did not see that. And did not see um we also did not see um much help from people of, you know, from the church. So that was one of the things that he just really had stuck out and he had showed us. And then there were uh, people that were doing things that what's the word, showing that were showing compassion, and just really the best way that they could, right? So you would have people that would like, they had a couple of times where I guess a family or organization, they would literally come, they would have a uh, a spread of food, like like it was catered, right? I mean, the whole just catered, and then you had a line of food, drinks. I mean, good food, and then they even had, you know, at the end they were giving you like socks and covers and, you know, things like that. But, and I won't say but, we had to eat outside. We had to eat outside, and I think this was the first time. Excuse me. It was snow. It was snowing one time, so we trying to find, you know, a place where we can eat because we were able to like go back for seconds or whatever. So we were just trying to find a place to eat around, you know, where they were serving, so that we could eat. We're holding our plates. You gotta know people have all their personals on them, you know. So you got all your bags. Um, God didn't allow us to have bags though. Well, at first, because remember I told you at the beginning, I took I took some stuff, but before he had us to really get out there, he was like, he had get rid of this, get rid of this luggage, get rid of this. You're carrying the past on your back, and he's in the first. That was the first thing. Um, After that was the first thing before the shoes of him saying, "I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to provide for your every need. Let this go," right? And so we gave up the suitcase, and that was a difficult, but it was. I won't even really say difficult like that because I just snatched it off like a band-aid. Like, oh, okay, let me just get rid of it, right? And so, but when I'm saying about the people eating, they literally, you know, you literally had your persons on, you know, they had their personal stuff on them, everything. And so you're trying to hold your plate, you got all of your other stuff, you don't want your stuff, you know, you can't lay it on the ground because the ground is wet. So it was just, man. So that was a situation that also was like, okay, we can, you know, see where we could do better there. Then you had the people that felt like or addressed homelessness with the solution of going to shelters, right? And then you had people saying, but they're taking all our money. Like, okay, we go to the shelters, now we have no money. The little money we do have, they're taking that, and then we have no money at all. So really, you back, you really still outside begging, right? Because if they're taking all your money, you still really outside begging. Along with the conditions that were in, you know, the shelters at the time, not along with, not, you know, also with it being with them at that time being overcrowded, And so there were a lot of issues with the shelter situation, where it wasn't a situation where everybody could be in the shelter. Now, I will say that a lot of times that be our first thought. Like, why are they standing on the street? They can go to a shelter. Shelter is not always the option. That's another thing I learned. Then there was another issue that arose a lot, that I would hear people say, you know, why don't they, uh, why about the smell, from people standing on the street. And so I remember hearing one day this man was talking about another homeless person, and he was like, why don't they just go to a gas station and clean up, right? And he was just going on, so I injected into the conversation and I asked, what gas station? Okay, tell me, because at this point, okay, what gas station? Since I am among them, okay, homeless at the what gas station? What gas station do we go to now? And so he couldn't name a gas station, because really there's no gas stations like that down in the downtown area. Okay, so you had other situations where they couldn't go to the gas station. You couldn't use bathrooms in the public buildings. Like, a lot of homeless people went to, especially during the winter hours, a lot of homeless people went to the libraries, because at the libraries you were at least warm there, you were dry, but you couldn't sleep there. They wouldn't allow you to, like, put your head down, doze off, no sleeping or none of that. But you could watch porn on the computer. That was interesting to me. Like, you be in there and the man on one computer or somebody next to you every other watching porn. Yeah, so I don't know about, that's another issue. And so then, what they would do to prevent people from washing or wiping off, because basically that's all your option is wiping off, because who's going to carry a wet towel? So you really, trying to just basically wipe off. They made the they only provided cold water. So let me say, it's winter, it's cold outside, and they only providing cold water. Then they start shutting down then the restaurants also then start shutting down the restrooms, so that you have to purchase something in order to use the restroom, and then you go in there at the water cold. And so my question is, even as a paying customer, I'm having to use the bathroom and my hands cold? I mean, the water cold? Come on now. So that was an issue. Then you had when places were closed, that the places that were open Monday through Saturday, then you had to find another place that was open every day, that was open on Sundays. So then on Sundays we would go over to United Center at the time on Sundays, and then they had someone there that was catering food on Sundays. But the person that was catering food there, and I know somebody gonna be like, she just critiqued everything, complained about everything, but no, really, I'm not critiquing or complaining. I'm just telling you what I observed, right? And should we have, or should people just be thankful for what they get? No. No, I don't totally agree with that. So back to my observation again. It's an observation. Oh, so writing. So okay. So you would get on. So then what happened was We would get on the train around 10 o'clock, I guess, 9-ish, 10, something like that. Once, people are really, at their destinations at home or whatever, people not really traveling for work. So you get on the train around that time. On the coldest days, you would have some of the conductors would leave the doors open. It's freezing outside, and they would just leave the doors open so that it would be freezing on the train, right? And then um no bathroom usage anywhere, mainly at nighttime. So you really like having to hold your whatever between the hours of 9-ish till 7-ish, right? um I will say the worst place was the McDonald's on Wabash, that was on Wabash, and hmm is that Monroe maybe, or something like that. It used to be a CVS, but I see that CVS is gone. So the corner where CVS was on State Street, and then the McDonald's was down the street, um, at Wabash. And but the greatest place was the Burger King near Harold Washington's library. That Burger King right there, across the street from the law school. That those people had a heart. Um, they will allow homeless people to come in to get warm, get their breakfast or whatever. They weren't, um, looking at you in any type of way. They were genuinely kind to the homeless. I never saw anyone ever mistreat a homeless person there. And then you have another place that was also very and I don't think many homeless people, I didn't see many homeless people going there, but homeless people did use their bathroom. Now Target was very also a very um Target was a very accommodating place as well. Like, we were able to go in, and also I guess maybe we didn't really look homeless either, but we were there every day. The little part where the little member, it's the part where you can go in and sit along the window where you can see State Street. They also let you use their bathroom. There was a restaurant that they end up opening. It was a piece, but it may have changed to something else, where they did allow people to, they gave that food to the homeless at night, right? Not particularly then at the store, but I'm saying that particular restaurant, I did find out, would give the food away to the homeless. Then you had, I will say one thing that I did find um, just amazing is how much they took care of each other. Like, if you had something, somebody else maybe had something else, you guys put it together, make a meal. Or if you had something and this person didn't have something, you like, look, here, you got some of my food. Or you letting people know, oh, tonight, this where they got so and so, this where they coming through, or if they would get extra food and come bring it to people that they didn't know about, that they was giving food over. I mean, like, that part, them doing that more was more done, was something done more than people that would be walking, past you, and you asking, if they could, get if they would mind, purchasing you something to eat. I mean, a lot of times it's like, I'm not even asking you for any money. If you could buy this, or if you could buy that, right? And then, and people this color, they used to cut. Let me tell you, they was cutting up, cutting all, and the facial expressions. Listen, okay, I'm just stop right there. So, and again, you may disagree with me on this video, but again, it was an observation. I was there. God allowed me to see some things so that I could come back, and that was the thing that I would cry about every night, when I would just see these things, and I would just sit and watch so much, and I would just cry and cry and cry, and I would just be like, God loves the poor. He loves the children, and he loves the widow. Like, and he loves people, but his heart, let me tell you, his heart is man. And I would just see the suffering, and I could just feel his heart. Like, you see this? And I would just be like, I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna tell people. I'm gonna let people know. I'm gonna let people know. I used to say that every night. Me and my daughter. We're gonna let people know. We're gonna let people know, because when we're at home in our own, and you got your own stuff going on, right? You really don't know. You really don't know what happens. And so God just allowed me to see his heart. And I would cry every night and just be like, I see, and I will let people know we coming back, and I remember there was a man named Andre, and then I had started making names, giving people names, because they would just act like some people. So there was this man named Andre. I called him John Hannah. It was this man named it was this white guy who had was like, he was on drugs, but he took, this boy would come find me and my daughter so he can give us food, give us money. Listen. And he was just out there because he was on drugs. Like, his parents had was wanting him to come home and, give him, in rehab. Man, I believe I saw angels out there. Like, one night, it was this guy. It was like he literally just disappeared. Like, we were seeing him giving out pizza to people, and then literally he just disappeared in the street. I was like, that was an angel. I believe angels. I believe we saw some angels out there, right? Also the Walgreens, I met a wonderful young lady. She was, thank you, Anastasia. I met her at Walgreens. She was just so kind to us. She took us home, let us get a bath, gave us some clothes. Then there was one of the ladies that I went to church with. She worked, where we were circulating at, and she had kept seeing us. And so one day she was like, "What's really going on?" Right? And so she just blessed Kim. She blessed us so much. I remember she was getting ready to go on vacation, and she found us, and she was like, "Tonight, when I get off of work, listen, we're gonna go to Target. Y'all gonna get everything y'all need, because I'm gonna be gone. This is this." She bought us clothes, And every time we think we done, she like, no, because you need this and you need this and you need this. And I mean, she blessed us. And she was telling me that her house had caught on fire. She blessed us, man. And then she gave us money. Was like, because I'm gonna be gone for a couple of weeks, so I'm finna give y'all this money, so y'all should be good until I get back. I mean, so we saw a lot of miracles. This video isn't about, it was so hard. God was just showing me his heart and showing me the lack of his people being out there, and how we needed to be out there. And then it was this one guy that me and my daughter we were standing at the 7-Eleven, which they were also another great place, the 7-Eleven, that's also like right off of Wabash down from Target. We were standing there, and he was like, you out here asking for money for something to eat? Don't worry about it, you stand right here, I got you. This man went and he asked some people as they went by, and he asked some people, and it was like an angel, like literally, if an angel, because that day I was just like, I couldn't even do it right. Like today I can't even do it today. And he literally just came out of nowhere and just was like, don't worry about it, I got you. And he was just asking people to bless us. And they was just giving him money to bless us. And he just gave us the money. And he was just giving us, just, man. It was just, all I could say is it was so good. And it was so different at the same time, because I also had to learn, it taught me how to get out of being prideful, right? So it not only was I seeing things, but he was teaching me how to get out of pride. I remember one night, this man, he was just cussing, and he was just so mad. He was pacing back and forth down the street, like between State and whatever street the courthouse is on. He was just pacing back and forth down, I don't think that's Randolph. Yeah, between State and Randolph, and whatever street that is, the courthouse is. And he was pacing back and forth, and he was just cussing. He was just so mad, and people were scared. People were scared, because he was just, literally, it looked like he was possessed. And if you listen to him past the growl of what you would consider crazy, because it was like, you would think, like, it sounded like he was crazy, but he was just like, he was hungry. And when that man got some money to come eat, he was sat down quiet. All that just was gone. And I was like, just saw how homelessness gives the illusion that people have lost their mind. But when it comes from a need, like an extreme need, people, if you've never been there, you would judge incorrectly. And so let me get to this next part. So we were on the train, and this lady actually saw me and my daughter sleep on the train one night, and she didn't even know she had saw us. Didn't even see the lady. Didn't even know she saw us. And she had worked for a CTA. And we saw, so the next night, so before that, my daughter was like, Ma, I heard the Holy Spirit, and he was like, we going indoors. And this was probably like So if it was December, 3 months later, February, right? Because everything he did it in 3 months. He did the he did it in 3 months. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. So the next day, this lady said, the lady come up to her, she was like, are y'all homeless? And she was like, I saw y'all last night, and I talked to my kids, and she was like, we was crying and praying for you and for you guys. She was like, if you don't mind, she was she invited us to her home, and I had listen, I would have never thought that anyone, I wouldn't even say I would have thought that I would have did that. Like the thought that you would ask somebody you see homeless. But I'm saying, of course, being led. You know what I'm saying? Just allowing God to, use you and allow your heart to be open enough to hear Him say, embrace that person, right? And so she took us to her house, and her and her friend and her kids, they all accepted us. I mean, she bought us things, and her friend bought us things. I mean, she gave us pillow. Listen, just an angel, and man, fell in love with her kids. Fell in love with her family. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Natasha. Man, so just that was another thing, and then to read in the Bible that is considered a fast. I was like, what? That's considered a fast. God blessed her. God blessed her for that. I mean, just amazing, just amazing, just amazing. And so I said all of that to say this. I was reading Psalm 78, which I'll make a video about after this. But I wanted to just give this experience light. It has been a while. I do still talk to people, and when I still see certain things, I let people know, like, look, this is, and I haven't even addressed going to them trains when they had started taking. We went up there to the airport, so that'll be another day. But when I tell you, them people was literally turning that heat off in the wintertime, or keeping them doors open, so you sitting up there freezing in them carts. Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. It was real bad. But it was some people that let us use the bathroom. They're not supposed to let you use the bathroom at the train. But God had angels everywhere. He had angels everywhere. And so I just, to those angels that I mentioned on here, I thank you again. And I just thank God yet again for this experience. So the next time you see a homeless person, ask them what they need. Say a prayer. Don't just or don't look at them as if you're looking down at them. Because you never know. You never know why they are in that situation. You never know if God even led them to that situation, or you don't know if something happened. Because a lot of those people, they had jobs. They had family. Some of them had family, and the family didn't even know where they were. And then a lot of times, and another thing that I found out, that they was giving them people drugs. They would prefer to give them drugs over food, over helping them. Okay, so I'm just gonna get off here because I have a lot more that I could say to that. But I just want to thank you for being here with me on the Titus 2 channel. Thank you for listening to this journey that I went on. And again, I pray that this will give light, that this video will give understanding, and that this video will help somebody. Okay? And so until next time, thank you. Until then, bye for now.